He is scheduled to go for a surgery, a major surgery. He has requested to make dua. Also, alhamdulillah, good news from Brother Abdul Hamid. We prayed for his mom yesterday. Alhamdulillah, she is doing much better. So he also has sent his appreciation for making dua for his mother yesterday. Tomorrow, Salatul Fajr will be at 6:15 a.m. starting tomorrow. Asr will be at 6:15 p.m. and Isha will be at 9:30 p.m. beginning tomorrow. Finally, we are 2 days away from our Frisco fundraising, 2 or 3 days on Saturday. So if you haven't purchased your ticket, but the Arif is at the Rotunda. Also in the office, we have tickets during the day. You can stop any time and get your ticket, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Also, please excuse me, a sister, a young sister, age 32. Her name is Amina. She's a family friend of Brother Ismail's family. She passed away 2 hours ago. She had kidney cancer, and she passed away about 2 hours ago. Allahumma arhamha ya Rabb. Allahumma arhamha, Allahumma arhamha, Allahumma tajawaz anha, Allahumma aghfir laha. اللهم أكرم نزلها ومثواها واجعل الجنة مأواها اللهم لا تحرمنا أجرها ولا تفتنا بعدها اللهم اجعل خير أيامنا وأسعدها يوم ملقاك Ya Allah, let the most beautiful moments of our lives, the moment we come to you. Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa alihi wa sahbihi wa man walah. I hope you don't mind me sharing with you another Khatira tonight. Sheikh Khalil was supposed to be here today, and I told you 2 nights ago, inshallah, I won't give you a Khatira for 2 days. But I guess I ended up doing so, and some of you still requested that I do that. But I just simply didn't want to bore you. If you were bored, I didn't want to give you too much. Alamullah, I just want to lighten your burden, that's all. And therefore, I first ask Allah Azza wa Jal to open the hearing channels of my heart and yours to any word and any meaning and any wisdom that He subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses for us to internalize. Of what I recited tonight, inshallah ta'ala, I'm going to connect it maybe a moment later. But from time to time, or rather, I think usually, I would like always that we emphasize the basics. As one brother put it earlier to me and said, alhamdulillah, that we're emphasizing the basics. And as you know, in any discipline, even in athletics, if you don't emphasize the basics and we train in the basics, you will not have a special athlete or a special expert in any discipline. The basics are very important, and to train in the basics. So, and I am new in your beautiful community here. I'm still learning about the environment and about each one of us and about you and about myself. And as we proceed, inshallah ta'ala, things will become clearer bi'idhnillah ta'ala as well. But forgive me to ask, how many do not know Arkanul Iman? It's okay. It's no harm in not knowing. We're here to learn. How many do not know Arkanul Iman? Okay, 1, 2, few. Okay. How many do not know Arkanul Islam? No, how many do not know Arkanul Islam? Few. Alhamdulillah. Khalas. Then it means we need to emphasize the basics always. And not only know them, but also learn to elaborate upon them and to know what they mean to our lives. First of all, who knows what the word rukn means? Who does not know what the word rukn means? Raise your hand. Many. You know, how many know what the word rukn is translated like? Arkan, plural of rukn. Pillars. So, but actually rukn is not a pillar. It's a cornerstone. It's something essential. You know, a rukn in the fiqh sense is that cornerstone, essential element for something else, internal to its reality, to its haqiqah. If that rukn is not there, then that thing for which it is rukn does not have existence. Are you with me? So that's why when we say arkan salah, the arkan of prayer, of salah are 1, 2, 3 and so on. What does that mean? That means that those elements are part of salah, and in the absence of one of them, even if I perform salah, that salah has no shari'i existence. It does not exist as far as God is concerned. If we miss one rukn deliberately, and I don't know whether most of us here know the arkan of salah, and if there are differences amongst the schools of thought, and perhaps sometimes we're missing a rukn, and if we're missing a rukn and we finish salah, that salah, as far as God is concerned, is non-existent. That's what rukn is. So, arkanul iman, the arkan plural of rukn, of iman, of faith, are those 6 elements that I hope most know. And they are al-imanu billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi wal yawmil akhiri wal qada'i khayrihi wa sharrihi min Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 6 of them. The arkan of faith. What does that mean? You know, iman means it's something inside of you. It's not something external that you do. عقد تعقد عليه قلبك وروحك وذهنك وفكرك. It's something you tie to your mind, your soul, your heart. It's something inside of you. It's a aqd. It's a aqidah. That's why I say it's faith. It's inside of you. You take it as faith. Faith conveys the meaning of axiomatic. شيء صار عندك مقبولا معروفا بالضرورة. Something that has become to you axiomatic, accepted, essentially known. You don't need a proof for it. That inside of me, I have that internal realization, that internal acceptance, that internal clarity that God is Allah. The malaika exist. They are angels. And then the scriptures, the kutub, the messages of the divine to the world, to the creation. And those whom they and those who brought those messages, the messengers. And that there is life after death. There is an existence called akhirah. There is a world called akhirah, the hereafter. And all of this is in the context that God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, knows things before they be and is in control of things all. In space-time and in beyond. Nothing occurs of any sort, underline the word any sort, without His knowledge and without His permission and His will subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, Arkanul Iman are like Allah Azza wa Jal first wants us to know where we are. What is this world? Where are we? We are in a world in which there is the divine, created, that is. The world is created by the divine. There is a God. And then in this creation, we should always be aware that there are creation beyond us called al-malaika. And why not mentioning the jinns and humans? We exist too. But here it is mentioned because they are always fully in the service of Allah Azza wa Jal. always. They do only what He wants them to do. يَفْعَلُونَ مَا يُؤْمَرُونَ. They do not do like we do, disobey Allah Azza wa Jal. They are creatures unlike us who are there, they exist, and they are at the command of the divine. And there are details of that, of course. So I should first of all envision existence in which I am. And that this divine, and through these angels, Allah communicated to the worlds. God communicated to the worlds. I should know that. That's part of my past, of the past of human history, and of time and space history. That there have been messengers and messages from God through the angels to creatures. I should know this environment in which I am existing. This is what it is. And that there is also an environment which is imperceptible to me. Al-Yawm al-Akhir. That there is an environment, there is a universe, there is an existence in space-time unlike we envision them, that is called Al-Akhirah. In other words, the environment in which I am does not stop at the earth, does not stop at the galaxy, does not stop at the universe, does not stop at the universes as we know them in science. It is beyond the beyond. And there is a concept of time beyond time. Al-Yawm al-Akhir. This is the environment, first of all, in which I am. Are you understanding me? Like if I think that my environment is the four walls of my house, that there is nothing else that is outside of that. Obviously, my conduct and my ways to conduct my affairs is going to be different than if I knew that actually outside of this house there is 1,000 miles more. Isn't it? I would do things differently than if I didn't know. So I should first know. Arkanul Iman is to know, in a sense, to know and to feel and to realize where I am. And that, the sixth pillar, al-qada wal-qadar, and that nothing in this existence and hyper-existence and beyond, nothing occurs or does not occur without the knowledge, the permission, and the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is this clear? This I and you as Muslim, I must always know. This is Arkanul Iman. If I miss one of them, if I reject one of them, I am not a mu'min. If I reject voluntarily, deliberately, one of them, I am not a mu'min. That's why it's called rukun. And because I need to have it to live, to act. Because I need to know where I am and what is this environment in which I am. What does it allow and does not allow from me? If I know my environment and I know that this wall is so heated that if I touch it I'm going to burn. So I'm going to act what? I'm going to plan everything so that I don't get close to that wall. I need to know my environment. Arkanul Iman is something like that. I have to know them because I have to know my environment. I hope this helps clarifying things basically. Second, Arkanul Islam. Now Arkanul Iman helped me be in the proper environment and realize my environment. God, the angels, the future of the hereafter. And God is in control. Now I act. I act. And the most essential acts that everyone must have are Arkanul Islam. Again, they're called Arkan. Arkanul Islam. If one rukn is missing deliberately, what does that mean? I am not a Muslim. One of them. Either one of those five is missing deliberately, meaning voluntarily. By missing, I mean what? I mean I reject it as such. Not that I sometimes out of stupidity, forgive me, that I out of stupidity, not you, maybe I, out of stupidity, out of ignorance, no, out of rebelliousness, I say, no, this, I reject this as a rukn. Then I'm not a Muslim. Versus, I, out of my other stupidity, less stupid than the first one, I say, I recognize it, but forgive me, that wrongful sinner. That doesn't make me a non-Muslim. That makes me a terrible sinner. As long as I acknowledge that it is rukn. Now, rukn, when rejected, means I am not a Muslim. And if I missed it and I realized I missed it and I do not rectify it deliberately, I am not a Muslim. And the arkan of Islam are, as I said, the first actions in that environment of Iman. Iman is about belief, is about internal recognition. Now Islam is about action. And my first action is what? What is shahada? La ilaha illallah. What is that? Tawheed. Meaning that God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I recognized as the first most important element in the definition of my environment, is unique. Now his sifat. Who is he? Uwahiduhu azza wa jal. That I confess and I know and I accept that he is subhanahu wa ta'ala unlike anything I imagine, I envision, I see, I hear, intellectually, mentally, even spiritually. God is not that. Anything, God is greater than that, is beyond that. And there is nothing in space-time and beyond, wal-iyadh billah, physically, or mentally, or psychologically, or spiritually, that is comparable to him azza wa jal. La ilaha illallah. And that, with that, I owe him azza wa jal, because of his names and attributes, of which he creates, he gives, he sustains, he forgives, he gives life, he resurrects, he holds accountable. Because of all of that, I owe him my unconditional love, my unconditional ibadah, my unconditional obedience with love and humility. La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah. And that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, which means in the context of that environment which we call Arkanul Iman, and in the context of this Tawheed, I shall strive to live my life in accordance to what Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam informed me about Allah Azza wa Jal. Muhammadun Rasulullah. That's an Islam. And I begin to act. I say it and I must confess it. I must say it and I must learn to act upon it. Of the first things to act upon it is Salah. My Islam, meaning my surrender, my submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salah, the 5 daily salawat that are obligatory. I perform them. I perform Sawm, which you all know, the fasting, the obligatory fasting of the month of Ramadan. I establish and perform Zakah, which most of you know, at least the general principles. And I perform Hajj when able, once in my lifetime at least. So these Arkanul Islam are the acts of surrender to, in that environment in which I am, to Allah Azza wa Jal. And everything I act upon of salah or sawm or zakah or declaration of oneness and so on, it is within what? That environment in which I am. Now these are the requirements, the arkan. A house is not made of arkan only, right? As everybody knows. A house, a building, a mansion, a palace, a tent is not made only of arkan. It's made of walls and roofs and some aesthetics. And maybe levels and some embellishments. Now, all of that are like our deeds, the rest of our ibadat and the rest of our muamalat and adat and tiba' and habits and customs that we do. All of them must be within my awareness of my environment. What is my environment? Arkanul Iman. Remember that. Every move I make in life, every stop I make in life, everyone, externally, internally, in matters of worship, in matters of mundane secular activities, all of that I should be doing with my awareness of my environment. What is my environment? Say it all. Arkanul Iman. And keep feeling that, and then until, subhanAllah, it becomes very, very personal and very special. So, of that, of al-istislam, of the details, for example, صح عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال, this is still another general statement, but it is a little more specific within Arkanul Islam. اتق الله حيثما كنت. شفت؟ اتق الله حيثما كنت. Be conscious of Allah. Be aware of Allah. Be mindful of Allah. Shield yourself against what displeases Allah Azza wa Jal wherever you are. Wherever you are. In India, in Pakistan, in Al-Maghrib, Morocco, in Algeria, in the United States, alone, in public, wherever. At work, at home, in the hospital, when I'm sick, when I'm healthy, when I'm playing, in the court, in a courtyard, in a basketball court, حيثما كنت اتق الله. Do you see how we connected? If I am aware of my environment, Arkanul Iman, this will be natural. That's why it is Arkanul Iman. And I know some of us memorize them and then we never get back to them. We never find out what they mean to us in our lives and why they are arkan. We simply sometimes reiterate them, memorize them, but what do they mean to me in my life? This is one way, an important way to understand what they mean to me in my life. If I'm aware of my environment, Arkanul Iman, اتق الله حيثما كنت becomes natural. I cannot not be in that state. Second, and he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَأَتْبِعِ السَّيِّئَةَ الْحَسَنَةَ تَمْحُهَا. In that awareness of that environment, and since we are human beings, we're not angels, we shall and we will commit mistakes, but I am still aware of my environment. Now I'm still within the arkan of Islam. I'm a muwahhid. Even with that, I shall fumble. Isn't it? Who does not fumble? Raise your hands. Who has not fumbled? Raise your hand. Khalas, haqq. And that's rahmatullahi bina. So there is hope. Within that awareness that Allah knows everything, and nothing occurs without His knowledge, subhanahu wa ta'ala, if I feel that environment, I would feel remorse. I would feel regret. I would feel pain. He watches me. He sees me. He's in control, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then what do I do immediately? I repent. I come back. Wa astaghfir, and I ask Him to cover up my faults. And then the good thing to do right after that, the sooner the better, أتبع السيئة الحسنة, follow something wrong. If we committed something wrong, follow it with a righteous thing. And what is the first righteous hasana for us to do? Tawbah. Tawbah. And then other things. To give in charity, to perform salah, extra dhikr, to make a commitment not to come back again, to learn to change inside and to be more willing to do good, and to make an effort next time that I will not fumble as easily. هكذا. أتبع السيئة الحسنة تمحها. Go and fast 3 days or 6 days. Go do i'tikaf. Help a needy, help the poor, help someone who needs help for the sake of Allah, that may Allah Azza wa Jal cover for my faults. Immediately. أتبع السيئة الحسنة تمحها. This is the grace of Allah. It will eradicate it. It will efface it. It will erase it. And thirdly, وخالق الناس بخلق حسن. Subhanallah. Now this is it again, in my awareness of that environment. What is that environment? أركان الإيمان. God, the angels, اليوم الآخر, القضاء. Everything is, I operate within this reality. A person who is not a Muslim, who doesn't accept these things, his world or her world are very limited. Very limited. Your world is vaster, greater, beyond space and time. And a future that is beyond what even the best of human intellects can grasp. So, خالق الناس بخلق حسن. Conduct yourself with people in ways that are beautiful. خالق الناس بخلق حسن. Conduct yourself with people, with human beings, in ways that are beautiful. Truly, if I'm aware of my environment, please allow me again, what is my environment? What is the most important part of Arkanul Iman? Allah, al-Imanu billah, wa malaikatih. And they are everywhere, the malaika. Everywhere. Everywhere in a sense you and I cannot imagine. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam once is related to have said, do you hear what I hear? He just wanted to tell them, because he's spiritually beyond what you can imagine. Some people think of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a legislator only, as a ruler. He's a Nabi. He's the soul of souls in a sense. He says, do you hear what I hear? He says, إِنِّي لَأَسْمَعُ السَّمَاءَ تَئِطَّ وَحَقَّ لَهَا أَن تَئِطَّ. I hear with this or with this? hear space-time, sama, anything behind it. Ta'it, very like the squeaking. Squeaking was something, things are very tight, and they squeak. And he says, and it has the right to do so. Because there is not a shibr like this in this space-time that is not filled with an angel in sujood and in dhikr or in qiyam or in ruku' to Allah Azza wa Jal. They are everywhere in that hyper-dimension. But we don't see them. Some qulub see them. And if I'm aware of this, and in addition to the malak on my right and on my left, on my right and on my left, wherever I go, the angel on my right and the angel on my left, in addition to the angels of rahmah, to the angels of inspiration, to the angels of ilham, and all of them. If I'm aware of that, and they are beautiful, and Allah is beautiful, how can my behavior be other than beautiful? How can I not strive to behave in a beautiful way? وَخَالِقِ النَّاسَ بِخُلُقٍ حَسَنٍ. The more I'm aware of my environment, arkanul iman, the more I am prone to have khuluq, that is khuluqun hasan. And this is the summary of life. This is the summary of our deen. هكذا. Know your environment in that sense, special sense. And then within that environment and its arkan, know what you essentially must do, arkanul Islam. And then after that, what we should and must and will and like and it is good to do that are not necessarily arkan, but they are part of formulating and making our household spiritually and morally in this world. And that is, the general rule is like this. اتق الله حيث ما كنت. In the masjid, outside the masjid, wherever, anywhere. And then remember, when we fumble, make sure as fast as you can to replace that, to cover that with hasana. And the first hasana is tawbah. And then, more generally, do your best to behave and to conduct ourselves with human beings in the best, in a beautiful way, in the most possible beautiful way. This is our deen in summary. How many now do not know Arkanul Iman? Raise your hands. How many now still do not know Arkanul Islam? Some. Raise your hands. Allahumma fashhad. Allahumma qad ballaght. Allahumma fashhad. Ya Allah, you are our witness. How many do not know the general principle of this life in that last hadith? How I should live my life. How many do not know? How many did not understand what I said? Please, Alamullah, I just want to know, and I will try to explain in a better way if possible. How many do not know, do not understand what I said in that hadith? Alhamdulillah, can I ask Zahid? That last hadith, what are the three components of that hadith? I know you didn't expect that, but you're special to me, so I pick on you. Zahid. And then the last component, what Rasulullah ﷺ said. Aywa. That's number one. Ittaqillah, which means what? Wherever you are, wherever you are. And number two? Ahsant. What is number two? So when you're aware of Allah, and we still are human beings, we may fumble, right? So what's the next thing? Follow anything wrong with something beautiful. And the first beautiful thing is what? Thirdly, خالق الناس بخلق حسن. Conduct yourself with people always in a beautiful way. This is the summary of life. This is the summary of our deen. Arkanul Iman, the environment in which I am. This environment requires of me essentials. Arkanul Islam. And then the rest. In this context. Subhanallah. Isn't it beautiful? Doesn't it sound easy and beautiful and logical and beautifully connected? So let us strive to make it real. The rest is striving. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. Those who will strive in us, we will guide them to our ways. اللهم اجعلنا منهم اللهم اجعلنا منهم اللهم اجعلنا منهم وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله. And as I mentioned to you a few nights ago, you are this beautiful core group, mashallah. Most of you, if not all of you, are always here after Isha. Jazakumullahu khairan, for us to learn together. This is a core group. This core group, I would like to suggest that we build a stronger friendship and stronger mahabba li wajhillah by reminding each other and by striving to practice that between us together. Practice that, and Allah will make you, inshallah ta'ala, emissaries of these principles to others and to spread the word. Will you promise? I promise you. Will you promise? Raise your hands. Pledge of allegiance. I mean it. Pledge of allegiance to these principles. Who will pledge allegiance to these principles? Now, let me see. And inshallah. Say, Ya Allah, help us accomplish that. Ameen ya Rabb. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.